Good morning, good morning. Happy Wednesday. It's time for another What's She Making Wednesday video. And today I thought we would do a card tutorial using an inspiration from our catalog. So this is our current mini catalog that runs from September to December of 24. And there's so many different fun inspirations and ideas. I really love the catalog for that purpose. So today I'm going to take my inspiration from page 43 in our catalog. This is the Christmas Friends bundle, which I love. They are just adorable. There's a super cute bear. Here, let me show you the bigger version. Super cute bear and an owl with a little Santa hat, and I love the sentiments. I'll be thinking of you this season. It's so very cute. So in this inspiration here, there is this gift bag, and this gift bag was created with some of our designer series paper, our cute little moose, and some bling and trees and such. And so I thought we would recreate this today, but instead of a gift bag, we're going to make it into a card. So let me show you their version, which is the gift bag, the super cute gift bag. And my version turned into a card just like so. So I just love that you can take one piece of this and turn it into, something totally different, but, not a gift bag, but also something that is so super cute. So the paper that we're going to be using to create this today are two of our papers, actually. So one is the Regal Distressed. So this paper is so cute. It's got cherry cobbler and basic beige and and pretty peacock. So we've got some basic beige here with the gold. Beautiful. These are white backed, which I kind of love because then you don't have to decide which side of the paper you like more, right? And then this beautiful pretty peacock and gold leaf paper, which I really, really love. So today we're going to use this paper, this cherry cobbler paper, to create our card. We're also going to use some gold foil sheets. So we're going to use this to die cut some stars. So let's get started. We'll do some stamping first. So I have just a piece of basic white here. I've got my Memento black ink, and the reason I'm using my Memento is because we are going to be coloring using our Stampin' blends, which is our alcohol markers. So we want to stamp with the Memento so the alcohol markers don't smear. So I'm just going to ink up our cute little moose, and you could even go on its back to ink it up, just so you can see. Sometimes you need to see, right? All right, so we've got that, and we're just gonna stamp. And so what I like to do with this is to just ink it up a bunch, and I won't do the whole page right now, but what I like to do is just ink up a bunch on a sheet, stamp a whole bunch, and that way I just have a bunch to practice on. That's really how you get good at your coloring, right? Is by practicing. And it's also how you get comfortable with our stamping. So with that cute Christmas Friends stamp set, there are the most awesome dies. So we're going to use lots of these today. So the first one would be our moose die. So we would take the outline of our moose, we would put it on over our moose, and we will run it through our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine to die cut that. Now, a little tip, a Tracy tip on just something that I like to do is I like to stamp and then die cut before I color, because sometimes if you color this all and then you go to die cut it, and what if it moves in your machine and it suddenly, or what if you line it up not correct, right? And then it cuts off part of it and you did all that coloring. And so I don't love to do that. So what I like to do in Magic of TV, I already die cut our moose and then I like to color. So just a little die cutting tip there for you is to stamp, die cut, and then color. So let's get to coloring our cute moose here. So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' blends. We're going to use a few colors today. So the first color we're going to use is our crumb cake. Oh, I missed one here. One more here. The first color we're going to use is our crumb cake. So I'm going to take my light crumb cake, and because this area is a little bit smaller, I'm going to use the bullet tip point. So I'm just going to color in with the light crumb cake into these cute antlers. And I just kind of color in a circular motion. My favorite thing about these blends markers, these alcohol blend markers, is that they actually blend. So you kind of let them dry and they're gonna expand a bit. So I often don't color all the way to the edge of the outline, because when they blend, when they spread, everything goes even. So what I really love is not like regular markers where you see all the lines of coloring. These blend beautifully, so you look like an artist. Let me see if I can zoom this. Oh, it might actually work. Let's see. Okay, so let's see if you can see that. It does. Wow, I learned something new. Okay, so now we're gonna take the dark crumb cake, and I'm just gonna go over these details that the Stampin' Up! Artists have already added to our moose antlers, just to give them a little bit of definition. Okay, so now let's color his body. So we're gonna take our pecan pie, and for this part, I'm gonna use the bullet end, and I'm using the light first. Doesn't really matter if you go dark to light or light to dark. But what I like to do is with these detailed images here, I like to kind of do the outline of the whole thing first before I switch to the brush tip. That way I don't color outside the lines too much, even though it's okay if you do, right? So I'm just making small strokes right on that outline. Now I'm going to switch to the brush tip end, and I'm just going to kind of go circular and fill in kind of all that area. Okay, now I'm gonna take my dark pecan pie and the bullet tip end here, and I'm just gonna kind of go in all this detail hair kind of area, or fur, I guess we would call it. So there's no right or wrong with coloring these. That is what I love. Can't really mess it up. I just kind of loosely color everything. Some people I know color super beautifully and spend hours and hours on each image, and they look so good. But they also look good when you loosely color. So that is what I am doing. So we're just kind of going over all this with the light. Kind of one more time to just kind of blend that together. All right, so now I missed a spot, I see. So let me take my light crumb cake, and in his little mouth area here, we're just going to give it some color there. And then a little bit of the dark crumb cake in that bullet tip end in that detail area. Okay, now I'm gonna take one of our other markers. This is the number 100. So we have these darker markers, and they're kind of like skin tones, but they really go well with hair and fur, and anytime you really need a, like a true brown. So this is like a true dark brown, this 100. And so I love it because it gives a really good detail here for this area. So again, this is the number 100 in our, I think they're called natural tones. There we go. So we're just giving him some shadow in his fur. All right, now let's do his skates here. I think they are so darling. So for this, I have the light smoky slate, and I am just going to color in the shoe part of the skate and along that little bottom, the metal piece of the skate. Don't you just love coloring with our blends? It's sort of like relaxing, right? I love it. Okay, so we've got our skates. And now, let's turn our little moose here. And we're going to color the scarf. So because I'm using cherry cobbler paper with Pool Party for the base, that is the two colors that I'm going to use in his, or her, if it's a girl moose, scarf. So we're going to start with our light cherry cobbler, and I am just going to go over these little ends of the scarf and then this first area of the swatch of the scarf. And then we're going to go skip a color because we'll do our Pool Party there. And then the same thing for the next ones. And then we're just going to go from top to bottom with the squares around his neck. Color those in. There we go. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. It is homemade, right? So we're going to take our dark cherry cobbler, and in these little stitching areas, we're just going to add a little bit of depth there. And any that kind of go out, any of those little threads. Perfect. Now we've got our Pool Party, and so the same thing, we're going to take our light Pool Party, just go right along all of our open squares there, fill those in, and then same thing with the dark in those little stitching areas, just to give it a little bit of depth, right? Okay, so now we have our super cute moose. We're gonna do his socks real quick. So I'm just gonna take some Pool Party. This is the dark Pool Party. And I'm just filling in those socks. I'm gonna take my dark cherry cobbler, and these are just so tiny, so I just kind of color a few. I don't really go every other because they're so tiny. So just get those in there. Perfect. Just giving it a little bit of color. Now I'm going to take some Winkostella. Love my Winkostella pen. And I'm going to go over the cherry cobbler areas of our scarf here. And just give a little bit of glitz here in this cherry cobbler. And it just makes all of this shine. So I won't get too close because I know I'm zoomed in, but hopefully you can see that bit of sparkle in our cute moose's scarf, right? Love our moose. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry. Let me see if I can zoom back out here. Well, let's see. Hopefully, I think it won't let me zoom out. So we're just gonna be zoomed in, I guess, for the rest of this. Okay, so now we've got our card. You'll just be able to see it's so in detail. We've got our pieces here, and we've got a pool party base here. So we're just gonna grab this and there we go. Okay, well, hopefully that didn't blind you when I did that, but it let me zoom back out by doing that. Okay, so we've got our base here. I'm just burnishing this to give it a good crease, right? To give it a good crease. Okay, now I'm gonna I already have pre-cut our pieces here. So we've got our Regal Distressed in that cherry cobbler. So we're just gonna add a bit of glue there. And we're just gonna adhere that right to the front of our card. Perfect. So we'll let that sit. Then one of the other super great dies in this set, which is so awesome, is it comes with this circle. So this circle actually cuts out the shape, and so you could use this so many ways. You could cut one like this, and you could use the negative to do maybe a shaker card or something. That would be fun. And then we can use our circle piece to do some stamping. So I'm gonna bring in some Mossy Meadow ink. And we've got this darling tree. I think it is just so cute. So we're gonna take our tree here in Mossy Meadow. We're gonna ink it up good. And we're gonna stamp 3 of these trees. So we're gonna stamp 1. We're gonna stamp a second one lower. And then we're gonna stamp a third one on the right. So we've got our 3 trees there. We're also gonna stamp that same tree on our inside layer piece, same in Mossy Meadow. So we're just gonna ink that up, and we're gonna stamp that same tree on the bottom right of our inside layer piece. Okay, so now I'm gonna take some Pool Party ink and my blending brush. So this creates such a cute effect. So we're just going to ink some up on here. Ink some up. And then we're gonna start off of our circle piece here that we're wanting to put some Pool Party at the bottom blending, but we're gonna start off the paper. That way we don't get any ink smudges, like big ink smudges. So we're just gonna kind of lightly go with our Pool Party on the bottom edge of these trees here. We're kind of grounding them and giving just a little bit of that pretty color. So there we have our circle piece with a bit of Pool Party blending at the bottom. Now we're gonna do the same thing on our inside piece, We're gonna start kind of in that corner, and we're just gonna kind of go around kind of to maybe the middle of our tree here and a little bit kind of below that. So it's just giving it a little bit of pool party right along the edge there. Okay, now we're gonna bring in our dark cherry blend again. I'm gonna use the brush end, and I'm gonna do on the inside piece here just a little bit of splatter. So just kind of over this area here. We're gonna use the lid, we're gonna use the brush end here, and we're just gonna flick it kind of a few times there. There we go, that's probably good. And just give it a little bit of that detail over all of that, just kind of ties all of that in. So then let's add this piece to the inside of our card here. With a little bit of liquid glue. There we go. Love that. So that's kind of the bones of our card. Now we're going to take our tree circle here that we stamped. We're going to add a bit of liquid glue there. And we're just going to center this kind of to the top center of our card. And just glue that down. Okay, now I'm going to bring in some mini glue dots. And that gold foil that I showed you in the very beginning, I used this star die, which is so fun because there's 3 stars in one die. So you don't have to run it through 3 times, your machine, but once through on that gold foil will cut out all 3 of those stars at one time, which I love. So we have those stars right here. And I'm going to use my take your pick tool here, and I'm going to pull off one of my mini glue dots. And because these stars are small, I'm going to use my fingers and I'm just going to kind of mush that mini glue dot together. And then I'm going to use that to pick up one of my stars, and we're just going to stick these on top our little trees here. So we're going to do that 3 times. And you could absolutely run those through with some adhesive sheets. You could also adhere them with your liquid glue. The reason I chose to use the mini glue dots this way is because it gives them a little bit of a lift. So it pops them up on top of the trees versus making them kind of flush. So it just gives it a little bit of dimension without putting a dimensional behind it, right? So here we'll grab our 3rd one, mush that so that it's a little bit smaller, tap it on the back middle of your star, and see it. That's why I like to use my take your pick tool, because you can really like go from all of them and not have to keep grabbing it. Okay, so then there we have our stars. Aren't those beautiful with the foil? I love that. Okay, now we're going to take our moose here and we're going to pop him up, or her, with some dimensionals. So we really want this one to be popped up. So we're just going to add these kind of all to the back of our moose. Remember, if you're coloring with our blends, it does show through with that alcohol, right? So if ever your piece is showing behind, you want to make sure that there's something else behind there so that doesn't show through. Okay, so that should be good. We'll peel off the backings of these. One more. Okay. Now we're going to take our card here and we're going to put our moose kind of to the right here. I like the trees to show, so, you know, depending on where you stamp them. We've got our moose there. And now we're gonna stamp with our words. So for the words, there are some super cute words in the Christmas Friends bundle. Have a berry, Merry Christmas, goes so cute with the bear. I'll be thinking of you with the owl. I wanted it to say Merry Christmas, so I grabbed the Greetings of the Season stamp set. This one is so great because it's got Christmas and New Year's and all these great sentiments. So we're gonna use the Merry Christmas from here. And this is when I love my scraps, my little container that I keep all of my basic white scraps, because this comes such handy for things like this. So I'm just gonna grab one of those scraps. I've got my cherry cobbler here. So I've got my Mary. We're gonna ink that up. And then I just like to take these scraps when I'm doing this and just stamp a whole bunch. And then I like to keep them in my stamp case. What we're gonna do here is good because it doesn't need to be perfectly straight or anything like that, because we're going to trim those with our snips. So see, now I have a couple ready to do my next cards. You already got the ink and the stamps out, right? Might as well do a few. That way you are ready. So we'll close that up. Then I grab my paper snips now. We need a Merry and we need a Christmas. Now I can save these in my stamp case for the next project. And I'm gonna just take these and I'm just going to use my snips and I'm going to cut as close as possible around those words, because I really just want those words. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight, just want those cut out. So we're just trimming all this up. Okay, so we've got our Merry and we've got our Christmas. And for this, we're gonna take that dark Pool Party blend that we used earlier, and we're gonna do that same speckled look, that flicking speckled look right over those words, just to give them kind of a bit of color. Now we're gonna take these, and for these I like to use, already cut some up here. I like to use our foam strips, and you can just take your adhesive snips and cut those. I like them because they're real thin. And you can just cut them to size that you need. So we're just gonna put those right on the back there. Peel off the backings of all of these. And so I like to take the Christmas first and line it up, and I'm just kind of putting that at an angle. And then the same thing with our Merry, and we're just gonna go kind of right over that. So we got our Merry Christmas, our moose, our super cute trees, all of our blending and our speckles, and now it needs some bling. Of course it needs some bling. So we've got our berries. So these are cherry cobbler and pearl berries. These are back in stock as of right before this video. I love these. You can actually color these, the pearl ones, you could color them with your blends if you need a different color. We're gonna use these cherry cobbler ones right now. And so we are just gonna put 5 of these on. So we're gonna put 2 in each corner, kind of at an angle. Easy peasy. And then we're gonna put 1 kind of underneath our Merry Christmas there. And there you have it. We've got foil, we've got bling, we've got Wink of Stella, we've got the cutest little moose ever. And I love that we used inspiration from our catalog. Often it's called our idea and inspiration book because there are so many ideas in there And I love recreating some of the things that they have in the catalog ready for us, and you know, putting your own spin on it, taking this gift bag and turning it into a card, or taking a card and maybe turning it into a gift bag, right? So lots and lots of fun options for this set, but I think it is just darling. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you haven't already, please share this with your friends. Please like and subscribe. And if you missed any of our past videos, you can check them out on my blog at stampinqueenbee.com. And if you're subscribed to our weekly Buzz Bulletin, I send out an email every week with tips and different promotions that might be going on, but also I provide as just a gift for you as a thank you for supporting my channel, for supporting my videos, and for shopping with me, a free printable PDF tutorial. So every single week it's got a supply list for the card we make every Wednesday. It's got all the measurements and all the step-by-step instructions for each of our Wednesday card class tutorials as a thank you from me for supporting all the things. So have a great week, have a great day, and I will see you guys soon.